They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give themselves to me. Like clay I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war forge them. They will be of iron will and steely muscle. In great armor shall I clad them, and with the mightiest guns will they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease. No sickness will blight them. They will have tactics, strategies, and machines such that no foe can best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror. They are the defenders of humanity. They are my space marines, and they shall know no fear. This was said by the Emperor of Mankind. Hello, and welcome back to the Wisdom Warhammer channel. And in today's video, I'll be going over the story of Amar Astartes and the Astartes project. I'll be going over the origins of Amar Astartes and how she became the head of the Astartes program and why she attempted to destroy it. I will then talk about why the Emperor needed the program to succeed, and then the fallout after the Primarchs were taken by the Chaos Gods. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and like in my other videos, I do not own the artwork in the video, and all things Warhammer are under the ownership of Games Workshop and Black Library. So with the intro out of the way, let's get the video started, shall we? Starting off with the origins of Amar Astartes. She was born during the Age of Strife on the nuclear wasteland of Terra. Her gift was her mind and skills in biotech, and she offered her services to different warlords just to survive. But every time she tried to create an army of super soldiers, it failed, often resulting in slabs of brain-dead barbarians being put down like animals. After some time, she met the Emperor of Mankind, possibly after he killed her previous master. She then realized that he was a reasonable warlord and wasn't like the other techno-barbarian warlords that she served before. Seeing the skills and potential of Astartes, the Emperor made her the head of his biotechnical division, and she helped create the Thunder Warrior Legions, which were unstable but better warriors than the other failures she created. She was so good at biotech that she was even better than the Selenar, and even the Emperor liked her. As Unification Wars went on, she and her team had the task of creating generals for the new armies of the Imperium, which were the Primarchs. She was under the supervision of Malcador the Sigillite when the Emperor was out conquering, and she was given the best tech at the time. After she and her team created the Primarchs, she then used the genetic material from the Primarchs to create the Space Marine Legions. While she was creating the Space Marines, she attempted to create the Black Carapace, which is under the skin of the Space Marines, but she failed, but another scientist named Ezekiel Sedane perfected it. As they were putting the final touches on the legions and close to the end of the Unification Wars, the Primarchs were taken by the Gods of Chaos, and she was there gathering everything they could before the lab was destroyed. After that event, she realized without the Primarchs, the Space Marines would just become unstable, just like the Thunder Warriors. So realizing this, she worked with the High Lord Awoma Candywire to attempt a coup, but this ultimately failed. And she thought she destroyed the data and the gene seeds vaults, but the Emperor already expected this and placed copies of them somewhere else on Terra. During her last day, she was confronted by the custodian, Simonis, and killed by her own explosion, thinking she prevented a new version of the Thunder Warriors. Even though she was fearful of what would happen to the unstable Space Marine Legions, and her being a traitor, the Emperor named his new soldiers as the Adeptus Astartes to honor her. Now going into why the Primarchs and Space Marines were created. The Emperor realized he needed an army of super soldiers to conquer the stars, to reunite humanity, to prepare for chaos. The first thing he needed was generals, and he wanted to use the Perpetuals as his generals, but most of them left, so he needed to do it the old-fashioned way. He then ordered his scientists to create and grow them. They used the genetic material from the Emperor and Erda to create the 20 subjects, which were the Primarchs as the primogenitors of the different legions, and each had similarities, but they are completely different, and it took them decades to create them. From each of the 20 subjects, they used their genetic material to create more stable super soldiers than the Thunder Warriors. I assumed they used some of the things they learned from the Thunder Warriors project and put it in the new project, but they had better knowledge and perfect genetics. As they tested on fully grown adults, they realized the new Astartes' organs and genetics wouldn't work on the adults. So they tested on children and it was a success. And they screened children to see what gene seed would be compatible with them through testing and where they came from. But for the Primarchs, many have speculated that each of the Primarchs are a different aspect of the Emperor, but their souls are from the warp. I do believe that there are different aspects of the Emperor, but their souls aren't from the warp. I do think that their souls are actually one of the many thousands of shamanic souls in the Emperor, and he used them to fill the 20 Primarch bodies. The Primarch project was moving on well, but sadly this didn't last long because Erda was prevented from being a part of the process of raising her children alongside their father, and when she found out the plan the Emperor had for their sons, she was horrified. In an act to protect her children, she went to the Chaos Gods, and they took her sons and flung them throughout the galaxy, and she realized that she was tricked. So she ran and hid in the wastelands of her birth world with her bodyguard Litu, who was one of the first successful Space Marines. She was left alone by the Emperor, even though he knew where she was, but I think he cared for her and allowed her to be at peace, showing that the Emperor still cared for her. Now, the first test of the Space Marines was when a High Lord of the Imperium was investigating the disappearance of the Thunder Warriors after the Battle of Mount Ararat. Her investigation led to Constantine Valdor, the first Captain General, who refused to surrender as he was doing what he was ordered to do. He led the first few thousand Space Marines against the High Lord's army of hired guns and the few remaining Thunder Warriors. When the battle was over and Valdor was going over the damages that was caused, Malgador returned from the negotiations on Luna and requested 3 detachments of newly created Space Marines. They didn't have 3 detachments, but they had the means of creating them. So the first detachments of Space Marines began to destroy the remaining kingdoms of Terra, bringing in fresh recruits. While the 3 detachments that Malgador requested were created, he ordered them to bring the Salinar of Luna under the rule of the Imperium and the Emperor. The reason they needed Luna was that it had religious cults that had the best gene labs and technology, which predates the Age of Strife. From conquering them, the legions would be produced on a massive scale, far quicker than they did on Terra. While they planned for the assault on Luna, the Space Marines who were on Terra, they started to build their identity, like how they waged war and who they chose for recruitment. Some of their operations that the Emperor sent them on required specific legions due to their gene seed and how they waged war. Some of the operations that the legions were sent on, he led them at the head to also learn about how the legions grew in strength and how they waged war. After Terra was conquered, he sent the legions out to the surrounding planets in the Sol system. He then realized that some of the legions were extremely unstable. For example, the Revenant Legion. This legion would eventually become the Blood Angels Legion, but at the time before their Primarch was found, they were butchers that pretty much listened to no one. Seeing this, the Emperor sent them all to die on the planet of Neptune, but this didn't work out and they survived. Another legion, for example, the Emperor's Children, had a gene seed malfunction / disease called the Blight, which has made a lot of them die randomly. The Emperor came to the conclusion that he needed his sons to get rid of any gene seed flaws in each of the legions that had flaws like I mentioned a second ago. As the Primarchs were found one by one, the legions blew up in effectiveness due to their fathers changing the culture of the legion and refining on how they waged war across the stars. After the Horus Heresy and after 10,000 years of war, the Astartes project evolved into the Primarchs project, but that story will be explained at another time, my friends. Now, I thank you guys for watching the video to the end. If you made it this far, thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, hit the like button. If you are new and would like to see more, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell notification to be notified for when a new video comes out. I hope you guys have a good day. In the next video, I'll be talking about the Unification Wars and some of the different kingdoms of the wasteland of Terra, and that video will be extremely long. Now, I will see you guys in the next video. This is Wisdom Warhammer, signing off.